activities rolling.
You've heard of the School of Rock before. Well, that right there is something kind of similar happening over in Ukraine with one of Alberta's own, Bruce Callow. He's been working at the Lviv Theological Seminary, teaching kids how to play guitar. He wraps up his time there today and joins us now to talk about his work and his time doing this work. Hi, Bruce.
Hi, Paul.
It's good to have you on again. We spoke last, I think, almost a year ago when you were organizing a benefit concert in Alberta. Well, here you are around the world in Ukraine, putting in the work. Tell us about what you've been doing over in Lviv.
Yeah, it's been very intense and interesting and fun 2 weeks here, visiting orphanages and doing workshops with kids and delivering some, guitar clubs and treats. They love bananas and Coke, so we've been taking treats to them, having a lot of fun, visiting disabled soldiers in rehabilitation centers and getting to know, things from their point of view, as well as a center for internally displaced Ukrainians, mostly from the eastern part of the country. And I've been spending some time in that place, getting to know how things are with them and making some friends. And apart from that, well, it's just been a great learning experience here at the seminary, and they've been a wonderful host to me the whole time, giving me a safe haven. There have been no air raid sirens the entire time I've been here, so that's been, they say, kind of unusual, but a nice break.
You talked there about all of the various people you've had a chance to meet already, Bruce. I mean, injured soldiers, displaced families, children living in these seminaries. What are the stories that you're hearing from people? What sticks with you?
Yeah, you hear each day, a different layer, a different. It just comes out gradually. Lviv has become like a magnet for people from all over the country. In fact, the majority of the seminarians, they're between 15 and 18, 19 years old, and the vast majority come from other parts of the country, including really, really hard places in the east. And this collective trauma that Ukrainians have had to endure, it's just been something that's, I guess my being here is not to talk about that as much. It's more, I'm the guitar guy. I'm practicing English with them all the time and giving them some fun moments. And in fact, Inigo Relief Missions, they gave me some funds to bring with me here. I was able to, on their behalf, to buy a couple of new guitars for the seminary. They've got wonderful music going on here all the time. But maybe the best part was taking all of the students out to KFC the other day and with the staff and the students just having a good old time at KFC. It was pretty amazing.
How did you get roped into teaching kids how to play guitar in the first place, Bruce? I mean, how did this all play out?
Well, I am a guitar teacher. I have been anyway in the past. So when we did the benefit concert last year, a part of the money went towards projects that Inigo Relief Missions sponsored. For example, buying a diesel power generator for one of the orphanages near Lviv, because as you know, the situation in Russia was taking out the electrical systems before the winter, which they may try to do again this year. So I was very curious to be able to go see some of the projects and people that we had assisted, and so this trip is kind of like a direct continuation from the benefit concert and being accountable to all the people that donated money and went to the concert, because as we know, Ukraine is not a perfect country in terms of corruption. There's a serious issue, so I like to make sure that any project that I'm involved with with, make the money is 100% used, and you can see it on the ground. So right. I'm happy to say that if you support this organization, you'll be pleased to know that every cent is used very well.
for KFC or guitars or whatever it might happen to be.
Every banana is reaching its designated person. Right. They don't even give the bananas and chocolates to the director of any of like I said the rehab center. It goes through a volunteer. They have their ways of working to avoid unfortunate situations.
So we heard you strumming away there off the top with your students. Tell us about some of the connections you've made with these kids through music and what that's been like for you.
Yeah, it's been outstanding. There's one song in particular, Hallelujah, Leonard Cohen, that it's a big song here in Ukraine. Obviously, they have their own lyrics for it and their own version. I think a lot of people think it's a very religious song. Mm. So when I pulled that one out, and we actually performed it today for sort of like a closing event, to say goodbye to me, and it was pretty powerful to hear the Ukrainians singing it in their language, and I'm singing it in English, and that was amazing. We do a lot of original stuff. I've showed them some blues and some how to use bar chords and how to write their own songs, and it's been like a crash course for English for them too, because I'm doing it basically in English. So they're doing their best to figure it out, and we're doing some serious intercultural stuff here.
I remember seeing a documentary, Bruce, from Gaza. This was a couple of years ago, well before this most recent battle. It was about this dance group, a break dance group in the Gaza Strip that where young kids were being taught to break dance as a form of healing and therapy to talk through and manage some of the incredible losses and challenges and psychological impacts that they'd had in their lives. What about for you? Can you talk about the power of music in what it is that you've been doing over the last while in Lviv with these kids?
Yeah, it breaks down the barrier. So you've got the guitar or a piano, and automatically you can just communicate. It's just it makes things work between human beings. Doesn't matter what languages you come from, and as a Canadian or foreigner visiting here. They really appreciate that. That's been mentioned to me a lot of times, that just the fact that you showed up and you're hanging out with them for a period of time, that means a lot too. So just because it makes them feel that they're not alone, right? And we add the musical layer to that when it's a pretty powerful mixture of good vibes, and I think it reassures them, and it's good for your spirit for sure.
Do you see it as a means of distraction for these kids in a really difficult time, or do you see it as something more?
I've heard that from the English teacher too. In a different interview, she said that, with Bruce here, it's like we get a break. We don't have to think about the war. During the whole hour when he was talking, like giving an English class about Canada, for example, and I go off about Sasquatch or whatever, and it's just like the war kind of disappears for them for a short time, and that's probably very, very healthy. So our connection is hard to really, really put it into words, because I've become kind of so close to these people in a very weird way in a very short time. Sorry if I can't articulate it a bit better, but a shared experience like that is something that you probably won't forget for the rest of your life.
No, absolutely. And music has that power without question. You've been raising money along the way, Bruce. I mean, you did this in the benefit concert a year ago, and you're doing so even now. If people are hearing this and thinking that this is a cause that they might want to give a bit to, what's the best way to do so?
Yeah, there's the NGO is based in Edmonton. It's called Amigo Relief Missions, and there's a way to make donations on a website. The actual website's called CanadaHelps.org, and then on there you can find the Amigo Relief Missions, and from there, then you can just follow the instructions. It's a registered NGO, so you can get a tax receipt and everything. So it's a great cause to support.
Well, safe travels on your return back, Bruce, and it was great catching up with you again this time around from Ukraine itself.
Awesome. Well, thanks a lot, Paul, and appreciate everyone listening. And do give a thought to supporting the great work of Amigo Relief Missions.
Thanks for this, Bruce.
Thanks, Paul.
That's Bruce Callow, an Albertan who's been in Ukraine teaching students how to play guitar. His trip wraps up today.